Hello there, this is TPA017 here, and today we're going to be having a look at some games that came out in June 2024, last month. It's a bit of a smaller video this time, but there's some interesting little titles there as well. So we have Empires of the Undergrowth, Dice Unfold, Valheim, CityBus Manager, Tavern Talk, and Riven as the notable ones I picked for the little thumbnail there. So with that being said, let's get on to it, shall we? So, alright, yeah. So first up, Empires of the Undergrowth by Slug Disco. So this one's been in early access for a fair while, 7 years, but it's finally launched. It's a bit of a base builder real-time strategy game. Set around establishing and building up an ant colony and facing off against larger threats and predators like scorpions, spiders, crabs, as well as discovering and using other types of ants and termites and the like. It's gotten very solid reviews. So let's have a look at the trailer.
A new power is about to rise in the Undergrowth.
Hurry up!
Yeah, so very pretty one, that one. So it's available for Windows and Mac, $29.99 US. System requirements: Windows 10 64-bit, Intel Core i5 760, right, AMD Phenom 2 X4 965. They're very old CPUs at this point, so I wouldn't worry about them. 4GB of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GT 440 1GB, or AMD Radeon 6750 1GB. Again, they're also fairly old graphics cards, and 5GB of free space. On the Mac side, again, pretty similar, macOS 10.14 Catalina, Intel Core i5 760. To give you an idea, we're currently on the 14th gen, so that would be probably about 13-14 years old at this point. So, so 4GB of RAM, graphics cards again the same, pretty much 1GB, and 5GB of free space. So you shouldn't have any trouble running it. You just need to make sure your computer's newer than, I'd say, it'd run at a decent little speed, probably about 8 years, newer than 8 years old. I'd say that's fair. Next up, Valheim. So it's still in early access. So it's by Irongate AB. So yeah, launched in early access in 2021. It's received a lot of praise, a lot of attention. Received the Mac version in June 2024. Had a quick mention at WWDC. It also has received cross-platform support. So yeah, if you play it and you've been noticing some Mac users playing it, that's the reason why. So now for the trailer, I've put in the Mac launch trailer because I feel that's probably the most up-to-date one. So let's have a look. Okay, so that one's for Windows, Mac, Linux, $19.99 US. System requirements. They're not too bad, I'd say. Windows 7 or later, or any up-to-date version of Linux. 2.6 gigahertz quad-core CPU or similar. Can't really think of any quad-core CPUs that would be under it, to be honest. 8 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 950 or AMD Radeon HD 7970. They're fairly old at this point, or it's a pretty decent chance you'd have something better than them. And 1 gigabyte of free space. On the Mac side, pretty much the same, or fairly similar. Mac OS 10.13, High Sierra. I think that might be my hubby. I should have put in there actually, but anyway, 2.6 quad-core CPU or similar, 8 gigabytes of RAM, AMD Radeon Pro 450 or AMD Radeon R9 M290X, and 3 gigabytes of free space. A little bit bigger for the Mac version. Not quite sure why, but yeah. So it's, I'd say, probably a 6-year-old system, something like that. Should be able to handle it without any major dramas. Yet still had tens of thousands of players when I was putting this information together. It's done very well for itself. Okay, next up, the Powder Toy, by the Powder Toy team. Now, this is an interesting little one. Now, I will have to disclose I did have to upscale the trailer. I used Handbrake for that, so hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so this is a open source simulator. Came out in 2008, but received the Steam release last month, June. Very intricate physics/simulation sandbox game. Hundreds of different elements, as well as other features like air pressure, velocity, heat, and gravity. You can create a variety of different scenarios, or do what I do and just make really big explosions. They're always quite good. It does have user-contributed levels as well. Some of them are quite interesting. So, okay, let's have a look at the trailer. There's no sound with the trailer. But yes, as you can see, there's quite a variety of different little things you can do, like a little word processor there, missile launching. It's a quite intricate. It's a very interesting little thing. So now this one, Windows, Mac, Linux. It's free, which is always nice. System requirements: Windows 10 64-bit or modern Linux. Intel Core i3, 256 megabytes of RAM, and 100 megabytes free space. And basically the same on the Mac side. Mac OS 13 Sonoma, Intel CPU, I would say Intel Core i3, 256 megabytes RAM, 100 megabytes free space. I mean, it's one of those, if you're able to watch this video, yeah, more than likely able to play the game. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about performance. Okay, next up. Dyson Fold by Tiny Mice Entertainment. So this is a little turn-based dungeon crawler. You battle enemy cards using different dice. Has 20 different classes and randomized dungeons, as well as upgradable items and class abilities, plus a bit of a roadmap that's available on the Steam page. It's certainly worth keeping an eye on. It's a very interesting little game. So let's have a look at the trailer. Yes, so that one recently received over 1,000 reviews. So that one's on Windows, Mac, Linux. I actually thought it was on iOS as well, but I remember seeing it on the App Store, but haven't been able to find it. So maybe it got taken down or something. Not sure. Anyway, so that one's $9.99 US. System requirements: Windows 7, 64-bit, or Ubuntu 12.04, 1.7 GHz CPU, 300 megabytes RAM, NVIDIA GeForce 840M, or ATI X 1600, and 300 megabytes free space. It's basically, I wouldn't really worry about the system specs. Once again, if you're able to watch this video, you're more than likely able to run it without any trouble. It's similar on the Mac side, macOS 10.6 Snow Leopard, 2 GHz CPU, 1 GB RAM, OpenGL capable graphics card with 128 megabytes of VRAM, and 300 megabytes of free space. So it's a small little thing, but it's quite a pretty little thing as well. Okay, so Tavern Talk by Gentle Troll Entertainment. This one's I've mentioned my little stream earlier this month. That's a bit of a cozy visual novel running a tavern in a fantasy setting. Listen to different adventurous tales and offer advice. Serve drinks to help boost their stats. Assign quests based on reports and rumours, and decorate your tavern based on whatever loot they bring back. It's also received a good number of positive reviews. So let's have a look.
There's a drink awaiting me at the tavern. Oh, if I get lost, I know I can return. There's a drink awaiting me at the tavern.
Better singing than me. Okay, so that one's on Windows and Mac, as well as the Switch. $17.99 US. System requirements. Nothing too special, to be honest. Windows 10, 64-bit, or macOS 10.13 by Sierra. 2.4 GHz CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of VRAM, GPU, and 2 gigabytes free space. You shouldn't have any trouble running it, to be honest. So, let's move on. Diorama Builder by Visual Art Studio. Now, this is a very interesting one that I wouldn't mind playing myself, actually. It's released after 2 years in early access. You build a number of really quite charming dioramas, including an Egyptian temple. There's a medieval castle, I believe that's DLC. And there's a few little city scenes as well. and you can explore the little secrets hidden within each little world. I think there's 6 with the base game. There's a bit of free DLC, and there's a couple of then there's a medieval castle, which is a paid DLC, and there's a recently announced a moon colony, so DLC. So let's have a look. Yeah, so very pretty little one, that one. So that one's for Windows and Mac, $4.99 US. System requirements, Windows 10, 2.3 GHz dual core CPU, 4 GB RAM. A few graphics cards to mention, but they're all pretty old at this point. I'd say anything newer than about 10 years old. And 1 gigabyte free space. On the Mac side, Mac OS 10.15 Catalina, 2 GHz dual core CPU, 4 GB RAM. They say a DirectX 10 capable GPU, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'd say, once again, 10 years old or newer, and 1 gigabyte free space. You shouldn't have any trouble running it. So, okay, CityBus Manager by PDP GBR, which is GBR is a German acronym for something. So it's come out after 1.5 years in early access. You establish and manage a bus line in any real-world setting based on OpenStreetMap data. Set up garages and maintenance depots, offices and service centres, and has over 30 buses in the base game, and also has Steam Workshop support. It's actually done pretty well. I think it's had over 1,000 positive reviews. So let's have a look. Yeah, so that was the early access trailer. I don't think there was a release trailer done. At least I couldn't find one when I was doing the research for the video. So, platforms, Windows and Mac, and $29.99 US. System requirements, Windows 7 to Windows 11, quad-core 2.4 GHz CPU, 8 GB RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GT 760, and oddly for the space it's saying only 2 GB for it. I'm going to assume that's an error because on the Mac side it has a lot higher space required, so I'll I'm going to say 12 to 15 just to be sure. Next side, macOS 10.13, High Sierra. I know the error there. Intel Core 2 Duo CPU, 8GB RAM, AMD Radeon Pro 4GB, and 15GB of free space. So, you shouldn't have any trouble running it, just, make sure you've got the free space. Alright, Riven by Cyan Worlds Inc. Incorporated. Now, this is probably the most demanding game. No, this is going to be the most demanding game on my little list here. It's a 3D remake of the 1997 hit, and which serves as the sequel to the very iconic Myst. You explore a mysterious world where civilization is on the brink of collapse. You travel through jungles, caverns, and you discover the purpose of the giant golden dome, hopefully before civilization collapses, since that's probably a bad thing. Alright,
Thank God you've returned. I need your help. There's a great deal of history that you should know. And for reasons you will discover, I can't send you to Riven with a way out. Once you've freed Catherine, I'll come with a linking book. She'll know how to signal me.
I know what he's doing. He's watching you. He's waiting for you to make a mistake.
The island has been steadily decaying for years. According to my most recent measurements, it appears that the Fifth Age has entered its final days.
There's a very good chance, if all this goes well, that you'll be returned to the place that you came from.
I apologize for the cage.
Yeah, so that was Unreal Engine 5, I believe. So Windows and Mac, it does support VR on Windows as well, but that's not really something I'm quite familiar with. Okay, $34.99 US. Now, system requirements. Okay, so this is like I said, the most demanding task on my little list. So Windows 10 or 11. Intel Core i5 7000 series, or 7th generation, which is about 6-7 years old, and AMD Ryzen 7 2700X, I'll assume about the similar age, so 16GB of RAM. Yeah, this is a minimum system requirement, so NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070, or AMD Radeon RX 5700 XC, and 30GB of free space. Yes, it's a beefy one. On the Mac side, macOS 14 Autonomous, M series CPU and GPU, no Intel support, 8GB of RAM, and 30GB of free space. So, now like I said, these are the minimum system requirements. It's recommended to have a pretty beefy system for it, so yes. Okay. Put out show the little honourable mentions here. So these ones didn't quite make my little standards I set for these, but they came close enough. Okay. First up, Heroes Wanted by Gameplate. It's described as a cute Slay the Spire. You arrange hero cards to create combos, and you can use equipment, artifacts, and skills to boost them in combat. It's hovering at about, I think it's about 79% positive reviews. Didn't quite hit the 80. Similar thing with Gladiator Guild Manager, Enchantment Forge. This one's got about 3,000 positive reviews, but again, it's hovering just under that 80%. So, yeah, that one it recently released from early access. I think it was out for about 2 years. So recruit and manage your gladiators in this little auto battler. Construct buildings and upgrade their traits and go questing to further improve them. Win the tournament, save the princess, all that kind of good stuff. And lastly, Caves of Law by Mike Robbins. This is a little turn-based computer RPG. 6 character party capacity, 50 plus monsters, and over 60 spells and 60 abilities, and over 20 areas to explore. Put together over 6 years by a one-man development team. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting little thing. It came out, I think it was 2023, but had the Mac release in May, actually. So, okay, that will do it for my little monthly recap. This one is a bit late, but I intend to make sure that next month, July is on time, about the 10th. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.